founders of this great and noble vision in the person of Honorable Sija Adioye, Mr. Abiodun Adeleke. I want to specially thank you for this opportunity to be part of Cohort 3 and the opportunity to speak to great ladies of this cohort. My name is Favor Kajumi Samari, as I was introduced. Thank you for having me. Today I will be speaking to us about strategic thinking and execution. I'll be sharing some experiences, some are personal and some experiences of other people, just to portray my point. Strategic thinking and execution. What comes to mind when you hear strategic thinking? Strategic thinking basically is identifying your destination, identifying where you see yourself in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years. How do you see your life? How do you see yourself impacting your world, impacting your community, changing the narrative of your community? And we at She Reflects Business, we have a philosophy around leadership. And our philosophy around leadership is ensuring the next person is better off than the way we met them. So, for example, if you have a skill and at the place of your craft, how is your client better off after having a transaction with you? At your place of work, how does your boss feel after having an encounter with you? So these are things that should build around our journey to our destination, because they go a long way to tell our integrity, to tell a lot about how well we are going to impact and be the true leaders that we are. Strategic thinking is turning your big picture into reality, converting your vision into success. And execution is the little actions, the breakdown of your actions, or the splitting of your big goals into short-term and medium-term goals to achieve the big picture that you have. And what is the big picture? How do you see yourself in the next 10 years? How do you see yourself in the next 20 years? How are you impacting your world? How are you changing your space? How are you impacting the life of the next person? For we at She Reflects Business, we have a philosophy around leadership, which is making sure that the next person is better off than the way we met them. So most of the time we encourage our entrepreneurs to ensure that their clients or the people they do businesses with are better off than the way they met them. So the ripple effect is the society becomes better. So why are you a leader? You are a leader because you need to change the narrative. And I want to refer back to the opening speech by Honorable, where she said, now nobody is going to grant you space on the table. You have to grab your seat and create a table for yourself. So you need to sit and look inward. Which table and what kind of table do you want to create for yourself? And that answer is the big picture that we are talking about. How do you see yourself? How do you impact your world? How are you changing the narrative? How are you making life better for yourself and the next person, and for your community and your country as well? So let me share a story of a young girl who lost her parents at an early age and relocated to live with her grandparents at a village or a suburb, like you want to say. And she had an early education, and that little girl was so smart. She had a big picture of where she was going. After secondary school, she started doing little laundries for homes, especially homes where elderly parents were staying, older people were staying. She goes there and do their laundries for free. But she had a big goal, she had a big plan, and she had somewhere she was going to. She did that for a couple of times. After a while, other people started requesting for her services, and she started charging a fee for her service. Little by little, she got a space where she was collecting laundries from people, and she had a little labor or manpower to help her with the work because it became overwhelming. She couldn't do the work herself. And you see, at that stage, she started employing labor. She started empowering the youth in her community. Little the business expanded, and she grew so well that she became admirable by other ladies that they wanted to be like her. So you see, in achieving or in chasing her big dream, she inspired or empowered other ladies. So I encourage us that as we are strategically planning our big picture, we should ensure that we carry people along with us that will achieve even better than the things we are achieving now. So, cut story short, she began to have some suitors coming to ask her hand in marriage, and some were saying they would take her to the big city and give her a good life. But she had a big picture that she was chasing, and she needed to make an impact from her little community to the wider world. And a young guy came along and wanted to work with her. He came in and became her friend. He offered to do the deliveries for free. She would do the laundries, her staff would do the laundries, do everything, package, and he would collect and distribute to the clients that own those clothes to their homes for a fee. And that was also going to the confines of the business, So over time, the guy also got a purpose, he got the direction in life, and he clung to that business as the business progresses. After a while, she discovered that she needed to develop her skill, she needed to develop her craft. She enrolled into courses, professional courses, international courses that she could do, like management courses to enhance her business. And over time, she did international courses and she became very good at her craft. And to cut story short, she became the best laundry service in her state and in her country. And the young guy developed a logistic company alongside her business. So he was able to find purpose. She was able to employ more labor. She was able to expand outlets in different parts of the state, different parts of the country, and other ladies were looking up to her. So I challenge you, what strategic thing are you thinking? What strategic plans do you have? How do you want to change your environment? How do you want to change your community? How do you want to impact the life of the young girl around you? How do you see yourself in the next 20 years? How do you see yourself in the next 30 years? How do you want to change the narrative? What kind of table do you want to design for yourself? Execution. How do you execute those ideas in your head and bring them to reality? There are several ways you can do it, and that involves action. What are the actions or what are the milestones that you want to achieve in order to achieve the big picture? There are short-term goals, there are medium-term goals. Those are the actions that will lead you to the big picture. So let's take example for the young lady. The short-term goals was for her to start and achieve recognition in the community. She aimed that she would use her consistency to make sure that the community are aware of what she is doing. So her consistency in doing her craft made the community to identify with her, and she was able to move to the medium term. What was the medium term? She was able to expand. She was able to, through the proceeds of what she was getting from the business, to develop herself. She developed capacity, right? So in achieving the big picture, the execution is key. What are the actions that you have to do to ensure that you get the big picture? I'd like to share a little story about myself. I remember back then in university, casually I would tell my friends, I'm going to be an employer of labor. I'm not sure I really understood what that meant at that time. But fast forward to today, I see myself doing that. I have been lecturing for the past 12 years. This is my 12th year.
in the classroom. I remember my first experience when I entered the class after I had delivered my first lecture, and a couple of young ladies started talking to themselves, and I overheard them saying, I must be a lecturer. How can this young girl be lecturing us? I was quite very young. I wasn't up to 30, So, you see, at that point, they were being challenged, and over time, I was doing other businesses alongside my teaching job. Because before I got the teaching job, I was doing business. I started business way back at when I was 25. I started doing business, So with the lecturing job, I love to multitask. So I do a lot of businesses. And late last year, the thought of starting a skill acquisition center came. Though I didn't have the fund, but the passion was so strong that I pursued it. And to the glory of God, in December 2025, we had the opening ceremony of our skill acquisition center. And there we are employing quite a number of people, artisans and facilitators that are working for us. So you see, I said that I was going to be an employer of labor, and today it's a reality. So how are you executing those actions that will lead you to the big picture? So I said strategic thinking is drawing or designing your destination, right? Where you want to be in the next 10, 20, 40 years, and this, for us at Heavenwards Ventures, the Skills Hub is not the end. We're looking at other opportunities that would lead us to multinationals, So for us, it's not just being local, it's not just being continental, it's about going global. So that is one of our vision at Heavenwards Ventures. We want to explore to the ends of the world. So it takes a lot, and we are already in it. We have put our hands into the plow, and we are trusting God because He is holding our hands to arrive at our destination, and that will come and it will happen. So I'd like to thank you so very much for listening. Thank you, Mr. Abiodun. I'd like to take questions from participants. And by the way, I'm a mentor. You can reach me out if you have anything, you have any questions, you can hold your hands. Like currently at She Reflects Business, our project for this year is one woman, one girl. Irrespective of your crafts, irrespective of your career, irrespective of what you do, hold the hands of another lady, another young girl, another younger woman to ensure that she arrives at destination. So let's put our hands together to make the best of our communities, to get the best of our countries, to make the best of the continent and to the world at large. Thank you very much for listening.